There's an invisible war happening right now, and the battlefield is right between your ears. It's a fight between two completely different ways of seeing the world. And believe it or not, the winner of that fight pretty much determines your entire financial destiny.
So let me ask you this right off the bat. What if the biggest thing holding you back from the life you want isn't your boss, the economy, or your education? What if it's just your mindset? Today, we're going to unpack the incredible science behind that idea, and it might just change the way you see everything.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to this one simple difference. Do you believe there's only one pie, and for you to get a slice, someone else has to get a smaller one? That's scarcity. Or do you believe that we can all work together to just bake more pies? That's abundance. And trust me, how you answered that one question, it changes everything. All right, so here's the game plan for our journey. First, we'll break down the scarcity trap. Then, we'll look at the mind-blowing science of what scarcity is literally doing to your brain. After that, we'll explore the much brighter abundance alternative, get crystal clear on why scarcity is a wealth killer, and then, the best part, we'll lay out a practical plan for rewiring your thinking for success.
Okay, let's dive right into the problem. And first things first, this is super important. Having a scarcity mindset is not a character flaw. It's not about being lazy or weak or not wanting it enough. Think of it more like a psychological prison that can trap anybody, no matter how smart or driven they are. It's a survival instinct from our past that's just gone haywire in the modern world. So what are we really talking about when we say scarcity mindset? It's that little voice in the back of your head that's always whispering, not enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough chances. And the crazy thing is, groundbreaking research shows this isn't just a feeling. The experience of not having enough physically changes how your brain operates, forcing it into a constant low-grade survival mode.
This mindset really stands on four big, shaky pillars. First, you've got zero-sum thinking. That's the core belief that for me to win, you have to lose. It turns life into one big, stressful competition. Second is a relentless short-term focus. It's pretty hard to plan for retirement when you're just worried about making rent tonight. Your whole world shrinks to the next 24 hours. Third is a crippling loss aversion. Psychologists have proven that the pain of losing $20 feels twice as bad as the joy of finding $20. This makes you terrified to take any kind of risk, even smart ones. And finally, resource hoarding. You hold on to every dollar with a death grip because you're convinced that if you let it go, you'll never see it again.
Okay, now for the really cool part, because this is where we get into the hard science. This isn't just some self-help philosophy. Scarcity has a direct, physical, and measurable impact on your brain's hardware. We can actually see what it does.
The first thing that happens is something scientists call cognitive tunneling. I want you to picture this. You're driving through a pitch-black tunnel. The only thing you can see is that tiny circle of road lit up by your headlights. Everything else, the walls, the ceiling, any side roads, is just gone. It's darkness. Well, that's exactly what scarcity does to your brain. It makes you hyper-focus on the one urgent problem right in front of you.
And here's why that's so incredibly dangerous. While you're staring laser-focused on that one overdue bill, you don't even notice the amazing job opportunity someone just mentioned. You don't see the online course that could double your income. You miss the big-picture solutions because you're obsessed with the immediate crisis. Your whole universe of possibilities literally shrinks down to the size of that one single problem.
The second major effect is something called the bandwidth tax. And let's be really clear, this is not a metaphor, it's a real thing. Think about your brain like a computer. The constant worry, the mental gymnastics of juggling bills, it's like having 50 different programs running in the background. It eats up all your processing power, leaving you with way less mental energy for problem solving, creativity, or even just being patient with your kids. So just look at this. On a normal day, you've got 100% of your brain power ready to go. But when you're under the heavy weight of scarcity, bam, a huge chunk of that is just gone before you even get out of bed. It's zapped by the constant worry. You're trying to solve life's biggest challenges with the mental equivalent of a half-charged battery.
And we're not talking about a small drop here. A landmark study from Princeton found that just worrying about money problems had the same effect as losing 13 IQ points. To put that into perspective, that's like pulling an all-nighter. Scarcity literally makes you less intelligent by consuming your mental resources. You're trying to make life-changing decisions while you're cognitively impaired.
And this is how the trap gets set. It becomes this vicious, self-feeding cycle that's so hard to break. It starts with not having enough resources. That creates the bandwidth tax, which drains your brain power. That leads to making poor, short-sighted decisions because you're stuck in that tunnel.
And those poor decisions, they lead to even worse outcomes, which means you have even less resources, and the cycle just keeps going, pulling you deeper and deeper each time.
So, this next idea is absolutely critical. It's a concept called slack. Slack is your buffer. It's your wiggle room. It's the emergency fund that keeps a flat tire from becoming a financial disaster. It's the extra energy you have at the end of the day. And here's the deal. Scarcity is a monster that eats slack for breakfast. It leaves you with zero room for error, walking a tightrope where one little gust of wind can send you into a free fall.
Okay, I know that was all pretty heavy. We've gone deep into the problem. But here's the good news. Now we get to pivot. Now we talk about the way out. We're going to explore a completely different operating system for your mind, one that sees a world of possibility instead of a world of limits.
So what is this abundance mindset really all about? At its heart, it's the simple but profound belief that there is enough to go around for everybody. Now listen, this isn't some naive sunshine and rainbows fantasy. It's a strategic perspective. It's the understanding that wealth and opportunity aren't limited resources we have to fight over. They can be created, multiplied, and expanded through creativity and collaboration. And just like scarcity, the abundance mindset has its own core pillars. Only these are way more powerful. Instead of zero-sum thinking, you have a growth orientation, a belief that the pie can always get bigger. Instead of just trying to survive today, you have a long-term perspective. You know wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. Instead of competition, you have a collaborative spirit, knowing that we're all better when we work together. And finally, you develop opportunity recognition. Your brain literally starts scanning the world for upsides, not just for threats.
And this isn't just theory. It totally changes how you act day in and day out. The scarcity brain hoards money and information. The abundance brain invests money and shares knowledge. Scarcity makes you hide from risk and isolate yourself. Abundance encourages you to take smart, calculated risks and build powerful networks. It is the fundamental difference between playing defense with your life and playing offense.
And the proof is in the pudding, or in this case, in studies from places like Harvard. They've found that people with an abundance mindset are more positive, less fearful, and get this, they don't feel jealous when other people succeed. Instead of seeing someone else's win as your loss, you see it as proof of what's possible. You think, hey, if they can do it, so can I. And that right there leads to better relationships, more resilience, and way more success in your career and your bank account.
So let's really connect the dots here. How exactly does this scarcity mindset actively keep people stuck? Let's break down the nuts and bolts of how it systematically prevents wealth building.
Well, the most direct path is that it just destroys your ability to make good decisions. It's that simple. That brain tax and tunnel vision we talked about, they're not just theories in a lab. They are actively wrecking your finances, day after day, with every choice you make. Let's get real for a second. Think about the payday loan trap. Your brain is screaming, I need $300 for rent right now, and that scream is so loud, you completely ignore the fact that the insane interest rate is going to cost you thousands in the long run. You're trading your entire future for a tiny bit of relief today. It's like skipping a training course that could double your salary because you need the immediate cash from a minimum wage job. These decisions feel logical in the moment of panic, but from the outside, they're financial suicide.
But honestly, the bad decisions you make, they aren't even the worst part of it. This right here is the real killer. The single biggest cost of a scarcity mindset is all the brilliant opportunities that you become completely blind to. It's the doors you walk right past because your head is down, just staring at the crack in the sidewalk in front of you. That is the true, tragic, invisible cost.
Okay, think of this as a little quiz for yourself. A quick mindset checkup. Just be honest. When you think about money, do you see a limited pile you have to protect, or a tool that you can use to grow and create more? When a friend gets a big promotion, what's that first gut reaction? Is it a little pang of envy, or a spark of inspiration? Your gut answers to these questions will tell you exactly which operating system your brain is currently running.
All right, I get it. This might all be sounding a little daunting, maybe even a bit depressing. But this right here is the most important, most hopeful part of this entire explainer. Your brain is not set in stone. It can change. This is real science called neuroplasticity. So, let's get into the practical, step-by-step blueprint for how to actually do it. First, let's just see what's possible. Let me tell you about Maria. She grew up in deep poverty, and she truly believed that wealth was something for other people, not for her. But she started doing this work, deliberately changing her mindset.
She stopped seeing her grandmother's recipes as just a hobby and started seeing them as a valuable asset. Today, she runs a thriving catering business that employs 3 other people. She didn't just find wealth, she created it.
And this isn't just about starting a business. Take Dr. Wilson. He was a brilliant scientist, but totally trapped by scarcity. He hoarded his research, terrified his colleagues would steal his ideas, classic scarcity behavior. He made a conscious choice to shift, to start sharing and collaborating. The result? His impact tripled. He got huge grants he couldn't get before. The pie got bigger for everyone, including him.
All right, are you ready for a plan? Here is a simple 90-day blueprint to get you started. Phase 1, the first 30 days, is all about one word: awareness. You can't fix a problem you don't know you have. So for 30 days, you're going to become a detective of your own thoughts. You'll journal to catch those automatic scarcity thoughts. You'll audit what you're reading and who you're listening to. And you'll start practicing gratitude, which literally retrains your brain to look for the positive.
Okay, month 2. Now we take all that new awareness and we turn it into action. This is where the rubber meets the road. You're going to put your savings on autopilot, taking willpower out of the equation. You're going to start a tiny project focused on creating value for someone else. You're going to intentionally connect with people who think with abundance. And you'll start asking yourself one powerful question before every big decision. What would my future successful self want me to do right now?
Then finally, month 3. This is about integration. This is where it stops being something you do and it starts becoming who you are. You'll use affirmations to solidify your new beliefs. You'll build systems so that your financial growth becomes automatic, not a constant struggle. You'll start thinking about how your success can help others, which just creates more abundance. This is how you make it stick for life.
Now here's a simple phrase I want you to start repeating to yourself. It might sound a little silly at first, but it is incredibly powerful. There's always more money. This is like a direct weapon against that core scarcity belief that everything is limited. It reminds you that money isn't a fixed pile. It's a current, a flow that's created through value.
And here's another one, and this one is huge for a lot of people. I am allowed to make money with ease. So many of us have this deep, hidden belief that we don't really deserve wealth, or that it has to be a miserable, painful struggle to get it. This affirmation gives you permission. Permission to succeed, and permission for that success to feel good.
Now look, mindset is everything, but it's not magic. You have to pair it with smart, real-world action. First, you have to create slack. Start that emergency fund, even if it's just $5 a week. That's your buffer against disaster. Next, shift your focus from getting money to creating value. Learn the simple difference between an asset, which puts money in your pocket, and a liability, which takes it out. And then start working towards having more than one way to make a living.
This quote from Deb Liu just nails the entire idea. The scarcity mindset is obsessed with having 100% of a tiny little personal pizza. The abundance mindset understands it's way better to have 20% of a giant feast that you all cooked up together. It's about choosing shared success over isolated control. It's that simple.
So, here we are, right back where we started. You see the 2 paths now, clear as day. One is a psychological cage that shrinks your world and drains your power. The other is a key that unlocks a world of growth and possibility. The science is clear. The blueprint is right in front of you. So the only question left is the one you have to answer for yourself. What will you choose to see?